Aloha, everybody. I'm Chris Lethem, and this is The Economy and You. Welcome to today's show. Our guest is Paul Coffman from One Wave Design.
Hi there.
And welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and so I was calling around yesterday, and I got a hold of you. I had another guest, and unfortunately he couldn't make it, so I'm happy that you were able to.
Well, we're grateful to be here, and happy you called and gave us the chance to be on.
Yeah, being a guy that's done some web development and software development,
Sure.
I'm sort of have an affinity for people who are working in that space, and an appreciation for just how difficult it can be sometimes to develop an effective website.
It can be
for clients. Sometimes the problem is the client. Sometimes it's not. They don't always know exactly what it is that they want, and that can be a challenge to put that together for them.
Sure.
Yeah, and you've been doing this for how long now?
I've started learning in 1996. I've been doing it professionally since 2004, and I've been doing it in Hawaii since 2009.
Okay, so how did you come to do this in Hawaii? How did that happen for you?
Well, I didn't start the business in Hawaii. I started the business back in North Carolina. I owned a real estate company at the time, and I was using the real estate to generate new buyers for my website and for my company because I was an exclusive buyer's agency.
Okay.
And the people that helped me build my website for the first time were gracious enough to teach me how to make some small changes, little pictures here, little words here, and I just found that I had a passion for it.
Now, did you build that out of Dreamweaver? Was that a sort of a Dreamweaver type
Actually, no.
experience?
That first website was built out of Dreamweaver. It was an ASP website. It had a full real estate IDX software on it, and I wanted to make some changes. I got some teachings from the guys that did it, how to do some little changes here and there. I found that I really enjoyed it, so I started doing it on the side, helping other people build small business websites, those types of things. And when I came to Hawaii, I decided that it was what I wanted to do full time, and so I opened up One Wave Designs here in Hawaii.
And you've done really well.
Done very well. We have about 500 clients. We have big and small. We represent people we've done several websites for the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. We've done Hawaiian Electric's parent company.
Okay.
And then we do little companies. We do individuals, fitness instructors, photographers. So everybody big and small.
So it doesn't really matter the size of the account?
No, not necessarily. It just more matters about that I feel that there's a good working relationship and that it's going to be beneficial and that we're able to work within their needs and their budget. So.
Oh, that's important.
Absolutely.
Important. Now, this is a screenshot of your website?
That's not a screenshot. That's actually part of our. Looks like part of our proposal there. So the photo number 1. And that I sent you that says One Wave Designs capture is actually a capture. So that's part of actually our search engine optimization proposal. That's an introduction about us.
About who your company is and what you do.
That's an introduction about who our company. Now that's my website right there.
That's your website.
OneWaveDesigns.com. That's correct. So that's a screenshot of the homepage there, and it's a fully responsive informational website, provides information about the different services, the different things that we can provide.
Well, it looks good.
Thank you.
Looks great.
We try and, a lot of people hire us because of our designs. Everything we do is custom built. We don't do templates, we don't do themes. What we do is we custom design each website for our clients based on their needs, their demographics, their goals, and what they need, for the website to do to succeed.
I do notice there's a lot of people that claim to be website developers, but really what they're doing is they're taking a WordPress template.
That's correct.
And then they throw something up with WordPress or grab different modules and sort of plug and play.
That's correct.
Kind of functionality. But of course, that runs into some trouble at some point because if there isn't a module for it and it requires some actual custom development, they hit a dead end.
Well, that's part of the problem. The other problem is when you're using templates, you don't know how many other people out there are using them.
The same template.
And so it affects your search engine optimization. So when Google sees when Google sees many sites using the exact same template, although the wording and the content on them are different, Google knows that they're all the same template, and they're saying ultimately, why are you a special company? Why should we give you preference in our search engine when you're using the exact same look and feel as 2,000 or 3,000 other businesses out there? So they look for uniqueness. They look for that one-of-a-kind experience for people.
So that sort of goes to how much effort or intent that you're putting into your website.
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
all right.
We go through a very lengthy process of designing each website for our clients, and they have a lot of interaction with us. So
Okay.
we present them with the design. They get to review it. They can say, I like it, I hate it, or I like it, but let's revamp this. Let's make some changes. So
You can always do that. You can continually work on the site until you get it to a place where they're happy with it.
That's the only way we build websites. So we first start building everything in a Photoshop document, just a layout like an architectural plan of a house.
Okay.
Go back and forth with the customers. They request change requests.
So it's it's an iterative approach. Then.
Very much,
Yeah.
very much. They have a lot of interaction, a lot of input on the website, and then we
Mm-hmm.
don't actually write the code and build the website until they fully approve the design.
So okay, so they got to love the look and feel,
Exactly.
and then you have sort of whatever functionality that you're going to build into the site. You sort of already discussed that,
That's correct.
right?
Yes.
And then at that point, you start going out and getting your domain name, and you start thinking about. And at what point do you start thinking about search engine optimization?
It's all the way through the process.
All the way through the
everything
process.
that we do when we talk about with our clients has SEO in mind, from
Okay,
when they buy
okay.
the domain, how long they register it for, who they register it with, those types of things.
Okay.
Um,
So I have it a good word that there's news about Google. What I heard is that if you type in Google, when you search for Google, you'll break the internet.
We should try it sometime.
See if that breaks the internet.
It'd be interesting to try.
Yeah, because Google, of course, is the premier search engine out there these days. Because
That-
you don't go, I'm going to Yahoo it.
Actually, you'd be surprised. I mean, Google does still make up roughly 70% of the searches, but Microsoft and Yahoo joined forces several years back to try and overtake the behemoth that Google's become.
Okay.
And they've slowly been gaining on it. Microsoft's new interface with Windows 8 and Windows 10 that was just released is all pushing people towards working within a Microsoft world. So they're signing in with a Microsoft account or Outlook.com, and there's,
Okay.
so they've really done a good job of effectively forcing people into that Bing Yahoo world. Bing and Yahoo search engine results are not quite identical, but they're very close because ultimately they're the same company serving up the same algorithm.
Oh, are they really?
Yes.
So they use a lot of the same underlying algorithms
They do.
to throw up stuff. Yeah.
They do.
So you're sort of getting pushed into it though. And it's not like you go, okay, I'm necessarily wanting to use Bing. You just it's just there.
Yeah, that's Microsoft's attempt to try and take over, what they've lost to Google as far as advertising opportunities. And quite honestly, we do pay-per-click and AdWords for both Bing and for Google, and it's less expensive. So a lot of times in some industries, we find that our customers, their money is better spent on Bing pay-per-click and AdWords than it is in Google because the cost to be there is less. So they get more clicks and a higher conversion
So what you're saying
rate.
is because with Google search engine optimization, it's very competitive.
It is.
And because it works off of a sort of a bid auction type platform. In other words, I can bid to get position.
Well, only for the pay-per-click AdWords. Organic
Right.
Google is different.
Yes, right, okay.
Yes.
So pay-per-click is different in Bing or Yahoo? It's not competitive like with the...
It is, but the cost is less than Google.
Okay.
So let's just say that you wanted to be on page one for a very competitive search term, let's say Hawaii real estate.
Okay.
Let's just, for the sake of numbers, say that to be on page one for Hawaii real estate, the average cost per click is $7.50 to be on page one of Google.
That's expensive, yeah.
Well, that's actually
right.
not that expensive.
Oh, really? Okay.
For some search terms.
Wow.
The same search terms on Bing and Yahoo might cost you $4.25. And so I have a lot of clients that have found that the amount of money spent on Google, when they shift some of that budget over to Bing and Yahoo, they get more results, more effective clicks, and more traffic because it doesn't cost as much to get that much traffic.
So that really impacts the return on their investment.
It does,
Yeah.
it does. And we track all these things through conversions and everything else, and which ones are converting and which ones are not. So
Okay.
that's AdWords, pay-per-click, it's always a fine-tuning process.
Well, it seems like it's a lot of work too.
It is.
So you must
It
have
is.
people they spend a lot of time and effort doing that for the clients on an ongoing basis.
We do. The clients typically know. They never do it themselves. They just want it done for them. I mean,
Is that right?
Yeah, all of our clients have access to their own AdWords, and they have, because we use what's called My Client Center in Google, and all of my clients have access to log in and see how their keywords are performing, and I'd say 80% of them log in once a month, maybe. I mean, they just really don't. They don't. They're too busy doing their business.
Doing their business.
Exactly.
Oh, okay,
Exactly. So
okay.
it's our job to send them updated reports and keep them informed of, what changes we think need to be made, but they ultimately trust us to do the right thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your process. So let's say I'm coming to you and I need a website, but I have a new business.
Sure.
And I'm opening up a new medical clinic.
Okay.
So I call you up and I say, okay, let's make an appointment to talk about what I want.
Sure.
So how do you sort of begin the process with the client?
Well, the first thing we want to do is talk about your goals. I'm actually building 3 websites right now for medical. One of them is a medical clinic, and one of them is a physical therapist, and one of them selling medical products. So I've got 3 medical-related websites going on right now.
Okay. Is this kind of
this is the step. These are the different phases of the design and the process that we go through when we work with our clients.
Okay.
But ultimately, we like to have a full, in-depth interview with our clients. And the first thing we want to know is their goals with the website. I mean, is it going to be an informational? Is it going to be you just want to gain customers? Or are you looking for something that's an e-commerce website where you want to sell products?
Or maybe even
and
just
those
have an
types of
appointment
things.
calendar where I can see if I can make an appointment or request an
Exactly.
appointment.
Exactly. And then the next thing we want to do is talk about your demographics. And we always tell people to have an open mind with design. Because design should be based on your demographic audience. It should never really be based on what the owner of the company
Not
wants.
my favorite colors?
No,
or the colors of my logo?
Sorry. Sorry, but it's got to look good for your
come
customer
on.
more than you.
I should be able to pick my own colors,
Well,
right?
that's if you want to change the effect of your website, you can. I'm not responsible for that. So.
All right. Okay. So you help them with developing a color palette.
Not just a color palette, but the images chosen, everything about it, how much of an infusion of the different aspects they want. If they're a business, most of our businesses are located here in Hawaii, and how much do they want to have that in there? I mean,
and there's also the issue of integrating with social media
Yes.
as well too, right? Okay, that's a piece of it.
It is a piece of it, but integration with social media needs to be done with caution, and it needs to be done in the correct way, because you don't want to distract the person. So when we integrate with social media, we prefer to build it so that the social media stays on their website. So if I build you a website for your medical practice,
okay,
and I link to your Facebook,
right?
Once somebody goes to their Facebook, they're gone. They're not going back. They're going to stay on Facebook for however long they want. It's just a total distraction.
That's an
so what we
interesting thought.
prefer to do is we use different programs to iframe your Facebook page within your website, so people can actually interact, see your most recent posts, your photos. They can like them right there within your own website. That way they don't leave your website, which does things like not distract them with Facebook, and it does other things like increases time on site, which Google takes into factor with search engine optimization.
Now, how does a search engine know how long somebody stayed on the site?
They know everything about your website. They know, because they track it, especially if you install Google Analytics.
Okay.
And Google tracks absolutely everything from the operating system to the monitor resolution to the mobile phone that they're using, from their language to their location.
Wow.
Thousands of factors that you can drill down in analytics and find out about the different
My
people
goodness.
websites.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I was taking a look at Google, and I just realized that if you put a space between the 2 O's with Google, you'd have go ogle. So I think maybe in some ways, when you go to Google, like people, maybe we just had it wrong this whole time.
Have
Maybe
you
it's
tried
supposed to
typing it
be
in?
ogle.
Have you tried typing go ogle in there? And see? You might not want to do that on a go ogle. You might probably not want to do that on a business computer.
Yeah, maybe not. Well, we're going to go to commercial.
Okay.
I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You. Our guest today is Paul Coffman from One Wave Design, and we'll be right back. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Josh Green. I'm a senator from the Big Island. I work in the ER there. But on Tuesday afternoons, I get to come and spend 45 minutes to an hour with Jay Fidel and the ThinkTech staff. They're terrific professionals. They help us to bring some of the leading cutting-edge topics here across our state to you. So you can join us at our show on healthcare in Hawaii to talk with leaders from across all the spectrum of health in our state, or you can join us for any other show where we talk about economic development or tourism or some really eclectic programs too. So really, we'd love to see you here on our show. Thanks for joining us and thanks for supporting us.
Aloha, how you doing? I'm Gordo the Tech Czar here on ThinkTech Hawaii, where we co-host Hibachi Talk, where we talk about technology and bring in all kinds of cool guests. Also, my co-host with me today is
Andrew the security guy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching ThinkTech Hawaii, and thanks for watching Hibachi Talk. We also have Angus.
Hello there, lad. It's Angus. I bring in all kinds of wee things. Oh, look, you can see my lips moving.
Hi, I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You. Today's guest is Paul Coffman from One Wave Design.
Aloha.
And we're having a great chat about all the sort of weird and wonderful stuff with the internet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, since you've lived in Hawaii, what kind of things have you done since you've been here? Do you like to hike, or?
I love to hike. I've done probably 20% of the mountains on the island. I've done Olomana. I made it to the top of the second peak. It was raining too hard.
Yeah. That third peak's a little tough, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it was just raining, or we would have made it to the third peak.
I
used to hike very often with some dear friends. We were called Foka Hawaii because we would always go and eat pho afterwards. So
really?
Every Sunday we'd hike. We've done Ka'u Valley and everything else.
Those are nice.
Ka'u Crater, excuse me.
Ka'u Crater.
Yeah.
You know where you go into Ka'u Crater? The sign that says "Do not enter." That's where you go in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know. Well, out at Mariners Ridge, you can't hike it anymore. They've totally blocked it off. And
Really?
Yep. Mariners Ridge they've blocked it off, and they've got But I've done the backside of Cocoa Head from both sides. I've done Cocoa Head. I don't know. Honestly, maybe over 100 times.
My daughter did skydiving. Last year she was here. She did skydiving. Now, I've never skydived, but I have gone to Google and hit the maps, gone to Google Maps and hit the what do you call it? The zoom in feature real fast.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like skydiving.
Well, did you pull your shooting time, or is it just a splat on your screen?
Yeah, that's all I got. It's a big black spot. So.
I enjoy Hawaii and a lot of things about it. I'm an outrigger paddler.
Are you?
Yes, I paddled for several years now. So I've done the Molokai race. I used to paddle for Nui Nui out of Waikiki. I paddled for Lanikai. I'm taking a break this season. I had to give my skin a little bit of Halle, so I had to give myself a little break from the sun.
Get a little tough on the skin out there.
Yeah, a little bit. So, but I'll be back in the water with it next year. Absolutely.
All right, great.
So I go out in my one man and enjoy it as much as often as well. So.
Well, that's one of the great things about Hawaii is the quality of life that we have here.
Yes.
And it sounds like you've really found a home here.
I have.
Yeah. And you still have a real estate operation back in South Carolina? Or North Carolina? I'm sorry, North Carolina.
North Carolina, where I'm originally from. I still have a website back there that operates. I don't necessarily have a company anymore, but I still have a big website that generates anywhere between 50 to 90,000 people a month. Wow. And what that does is it generates leads. It sends them to a group of brokers that work for a company. And then when they close a real estate transaction, then I get a referral fee. But I have that same thing going on here.
Okay.
I have a real estate license in Hawaii and a website here. My license is with a company called Distinctive Homes Hawaii Real Estate. Which, actually, one of the photos or the images that I sent is their vacation rental website, obrhi.com.
Okay.
Ohana Beach Rentals Hawaii, which is a nice, beautiful vacation rental website that I built for the same company as well. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how many people now are in your organization? How many people do you have working for you?
I've got 4 full-time, and then my database managers they're full-time and part-time at the same time. We own our own servers.
Okay.
They're located in the Dallas 05 soft layer in Dallas, Texas. We own our email servers as well.
Okay.
My database managers are on the mainland. They're dedicated to managing my servers and another company's servers. So while they're not full-time with me, they're available 24 hours a day.
Well, you don't really need them full-time.
They're not, but they're available 24/7 for my clients.
Yeah, on call. They're available when you need them.
We have emergency telephone access for all of our clients to call in case it's after hours or I'm surfing. And and if something's wrong with their site, then they can just simply call our toll-free number and get emergency help.
Well, that's the great thing about Hawaii. Your wives don't need to know, if they can't get a hold of you, they know where you are. You're out in the water.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing about iPhones and other phones nowadays. Everything knows where you are.
You can't text while you're surfing, though.
No, you can't. You can't. I guess I could leave my phone in the office, and then, the Find My Phone tells, I'm still in the office. But technology's kind of made it hard to hide.
Yes, it has. So, so it sounds like you really like what you're doing.
I do.
Yeah. So, but when the clients come to you, we were talking earlier about, when you're working with a client, you sort of come together and you've come up with a design and they've looked at the design. Like you said, you do that with Photoshop.
Correct.
Now, one of the issues, of course, is that I wanted to talk with you a little bit about is some of the naughty things that people have done in the past that they should not be doing. And if somebody's encouraging you to do these things, you want to maybe think twice about using them because these are some of the things that get you in trouble.
Sure.
Of course, with search engines, the way they're looking at the content of your site. And what the search engine is trying to do is figure out how to categorize your content and what keyword search terms the site should come up under.
Sure.
And of course, you're working as a designer, you're working to make sure that site gets as much exposure as possible.
That's correct.
Okay. But there are certain things that you should not do.
That's correct
Okay,
as well.
so we could talk about a few of those. Keyword stuffing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
And what is that? What is that?
That's overusage of the keyword. So you use the reference of building a website for a medical practice.
Right.
So if my paragraph, introduction paragraph was like, Hawaii medical practice located in Hawaii offers the best medical practice in Hawaii because we are the best medical Hawaii practice that's available on the island of Oahu. Come visit our Honolulu medical practice in
We
Hawaii
shouldn't be doing
today.
that?
No, you shouldn't be doing
Oh,
that.
no, because
that's
we're
keyword
stuffing all the
stuffing.
keywords in there.
Yeah, that's keyword stuffing.
Okay.
So, you want, it needs to be user-friendly. The number one thing that Google looks for nowadays, more than anything else, is user interface. That's the number one thing that
How
Google's
people
looking for.
use the site. Is that what you mean?
Well, a good user interface that creates a design and an environment that encourages people to want to interact and stay on the website. So they use things like time on site and bounce rate and average number of visits and
Okay.
those types of things.
Okay.
So if you create a bad design and a bad user interface, people aren't going to stay there for a long
So
time.
it's important that your site be purty.
It's pertinent, yes.
Yeah, be purty,
I'm from
yes.
North Carolina. How do you, I got plenty of friends talk like that.
Now, let's talk about duplicated content or copied content.
Terrible, absolutely.
That's bad. So if you're going to hire a content writer
Yes,
to write,
yes.
are there ways to make sure that they're not stealing content from somewhere else?
Absolutely. The easiest way to do it is a website called copyscape.com. And you can do free searches. So you can just simply put in your URL and
Okay.
Copyscape will automatically compare you to all the websites that they have indexed. And it's most of the websites in the world. And they will tell you. You can also pay for a Premier, which is very cheap. It's 5 cents per search. So you can take the content off of your website,
Okay.
all the paragraphs, post it into the Copyscape account. It will compare it to other websites in the world, and then you can see who else is using the same content as you. I've actually had to do this many times with my real estate websites because they were so big and popular. People would copy everything about my website, but just change the city name that they were in or the state that they were in.
Okay.
And I've had to send out letters of copyright infringements
hey,
and the
stop that.
DCMA. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So,
okay,
it
interesting.
happens often with successful sites. So.
Now, how about in illegal content, like stealing photos or... If I find a photo on Google, can I just use it?
Absolutely not. You should not do it. Do not do that ever. And we that's part of our contract, that we're not responsible for what our clients put on their website when they enter images into their website.
Okay, so you shouldn't take other imagery from other sites and use it on your own
No,
site.
you should not. Not without written permission.
That's a naughty thing. Okay.
Well, there's two major companies, Masterfile and Getty's Images. They're very smart. They allow you to use the image for several years. They continuously take screenshots of your website over the course of those years, and then they send you a lawsuit in the mail with screenshots of your website. And they estimate the amount of money that you've made by using these images, and you'll get a lawsuit for $7,000 to $10,000 in the mail, and they're not kidding. If you don't respond, they'll send an attorney to your door with a summons. That's a big business for them. In fact,
Wow.
Masterfile won a suit against a Chinese website for over $40,000 several years ago. So they finally proved that they can push those copyright laws into some other countries that haven't really respected our copyright laws in the past.
Wow, that's good to know for those people. That's
Yeah,
a real big gotcha
absolutely.
then. Okay. Now, what about things like cloaking or doorway pages?
Still bad things to do. You're ultimately you're lying
What's
to the
cloaking?
person.
What is cloaking?
Clo-
So people know what cloaking is.
Cloaking is when you're using one URL and it redirects them to something else. So I might have you click on a link that says HawaiiMedicalPractice.com, but it's going to actually cloak and redirect you to a site that's trying to sell you something. You name
Sell me
it.
Viagra or
Sell you
something.
Viagra,
Yeah.
adult products, something like that. So that's cloaking, and doorway pages are very similar in the way that
Okay.
they work. So neither one of those are really considered, they're bad. They're a negative thing to happen and it affects your search engine optimization.
Now, the other thing is, what sites have the highest level of credibility? Would you say EDU sites or educational sites have a pretty high level of credibility?
Typically .gov sites are going to because they're
Government
government
sites,
sites,
okay.
yeah. And then .edus, they they're up in line and next. You know,
Okay.
it really depends. I mean, if you look at something like the BBC or I mean, Yahoo.com, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It just depends on how to be on the size of the site and how effective.
Well, the
and big
reason
it
I'm
is.
asking that is because the other thing that you really have to be careful, as I understand, is having association with sites that maybe are not credible, bad neighbors.
Inbound linking is what you're referring
Inbound
to.
linking, sites that aren't relevant to your site. In other words, has nothing to do
Correct.
with your site.
That's correct. That's old.
Now, what does that do? What does that do to you?
Well, that's old SEO practices is inbound linking. It really, years ago, before Google caught on to us kind of gimmicking Google,
Yes.
it was all about how many links you had coming into your website.
Right.
And it was really didn't matter that much as long as you had a bunch of links pointing to you. Now Google has changed it, and inbound linking is still a very important part of your search engine optimization, but it's also a very dangerous and precarious thing to do. When you have a website that is not related to your business, it's not relevant, and it's pointing towards you, you're a medical practice, and I'm in
Right.
the business of selling, you name it, I'm in the business of selling car products. There's no reason for my car product business to be suggesting your medical practice. So there's no
Because I
relevance
can't control
there.
that. If I have the medical site, I really don't have any control over that, right?
Yes, you do.
Oh, I do?
You do. Google has what's called a disallow tool. So they ask that you take necessary steps and you contact the owner of that website. You request that they remove the link. If they do not remove the link,
Okay.
then in your Google Webmasters tools, there's something called the disallow. And you upload a .text file listing all of the websites that you don't want Google to consider when they see it linking to your website. So it
Really?
disallows, that's absolutely, yes,
Wow.
absolutely.
So that empowers you to have some say about who's linking
It
to you.
does, but it's not, Google requests that you put in that disallow file,
Uh-huh.
you know, I contacted the owner of the website on this day and I never got a response, so I tried to get on this. So they want to see that you've made an effort to get them to manually take it down first.
right.
But the disallow tool does allow you to get rid of those
So
backlinks.
how do you find these people? I mean, how are you able to write them a letter? You know, if they have, for example, if they have a private domain, how is it that you can get a hold of them?
You
Is there a
can't
way-
always. I mean,
you can't always do
you
it.
can't
so-
always do it. I mean, some people can find some way to get a hold of them, but the average user isn't going to know how to get that deep into understanding, you know,
Yeah.
and figuring out how to get in contact with that website owner.
Okay, so you do the best you can.
You do the best you can, and
Oh,
if you
okay.
can't, you just upload a disallow file.
Okay,
So-
okay. Now, what about paid links? Are paid links bad?
Well, yes, they're bad if Google knows that they're paid links, and there's lots of
Okay,
good
you
and
wouldn't
bad.
like call them up and say, oh, by the way, these are paid links.
No. But there's online brokerage firms that act as an intermediary company for us to buy links through. And Google typically knows what sites those are associated with. It's a very big business. You can pay for tweets. I paid Eric Clapton to tweet about a musician's website one time. You know, so you can pay for tweets, you can pay for blogs, you can pay for inbound links and everything else. Google typically tracks, because those are all associated with these online brokerage companies that act as an interim between you and I.
Okay.
And their software does certain things that I'm not going to go into detail and waste the viewer's time and
Okay.
energy with it. But when we go back to inbound linking, even if the site has relevant content, even if you have a medical practice website, and I have a medical practice website, but I have a bunch of bad links coming into my medical practice website, and I'm pointing to you, I'm passing that bad link juice on to you.
So passing
it's
on the
not-
juju, the bad juju there, right?
exactly. It's like a credit report,
Wow.
you know?
Wow.
So,
You're not hanging out with credible people.
exactly.
So it sounds like, as you said earlier, they treat your website kind of like your credit report.
Exactly, they do. They want
Yeah.
to know. They want to know that you've got good friends. They want to know that you're getting good referrals. That you've been
Okay,
around
you're
a long
hanging
time.
out with the right kind of crowd.
Yeah, you've got good
Yeah.
reviews. You've done the necessary steps in your Google Plus to create your Google business and pay attention to it, and that you're refreshing the content. They just released a new Panda update just last
Now,
week.
what is Panda? Okay, well, let's do this. Let's go to
Okay.
commercial.
Okay.
We'll come back and we'll talk about some of Google's algorithms
Sure.
for search engine. So for those people who have websites out
Mm-hmm.
there and you want to talk about search engine and getting ranked, search engine optimization, getting ranked,
Absolutely.
these farmer filters, the Panda filters and so much, these are, and such as this, these are important to know about.
They are. They are.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm Chris Lethem, and this is The Economy and You, and we'll be right back, so stay tuned for more.
Here's the deal. I'm Jay Fidel. I'm the host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, which is the Energy Policy Forum's program on Wednesday. That's how we call Wednesday Energy Wednesday. We call it Energy Wednesday every Wednesday. Are you surprised? Okay, and we try to get guys like Jim Alberts here from Hawaiian Electric who can tell us what's really going on in energy. We want to be informed. It's so important. It's the most important initiative in our state. Clean energy is major, okay? And that's why we cover it on this show. That's the deal. What do you think, Sharon?
I think that's great. That's why we're here every Wednesday from 4 to 5, and we hope you all join us so we can hear people like Jim coming on our show and co-host Ray Starley from Hawaii Energy.
Okay, Jim, you've been here today. You've seen this. You heard what she said. What do you think?
I think it's a tremendous opportunity for people to come together and talk about the issues. Oftentimes, there isn't a good forum to bring these key issues out into the public, and this is a tremendous way to go about it. And the activity of this show is essential to keep talking about energy because, as you said, it's such an essential part of our lives that we need to pay attention to it and we need to think about the future.
Okay, Ray, your turn.
Well, this is a special time in the history of Hawaii where we're making some pretty radical changes in the way we use energy and generate energy. And this show is the one place you can count on coming to every Wednesday and hearing something about the latest issues that are on the table, being discussed, that will affect us all going forward. So come join us, and if you have some ideas you want to share with us about energy, give us a call and let us know. We'll put you up here and let you talk for an hour. So come see us.
Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Sharon. Thanks, Jim. It's great to be, from ThinkTech's point of view, it's great to have this show. We love the show. It's our most important show. So come around and listen to us 4 to 5 on Wednesday. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Well, hi. Welcome back, folks. I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You. Today's guest is Paul Coffman from One Wave Designs.
Aloha.
And so we're going to, we left to commercial, and we're going to talk about now some of the algorithms or filters that Google and search engines use to rank your website.
Some of them.
Yeah, or to try to get rid of sites that are not necessarily providing useful or beneficial content.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so we were talking about, you mentioned the Panda filter.
Yeah, Panda, Penguin, I mean, there are two different types of updates that Google's done over the past few years.
Okay.
Google just did a release, Panda 4.2 happened recently.
Okay, now in April, you were saying in April, we had Google introduced a filter, an algorithm, looking at sites that were responsive or not responsive?
That's correct. So on April 15th of this year, Google did one of their first, well, it was really their first major update of the year. And what this does is it targets websites that are non-responsive versus those that are responsive.
So we need to know what the meaning of responsive is. So
well,
tell us what the meaning of, what do you mean by responsive?
Responsive is normally typically called mobile friendly, but it really should be responsive. That means that the website is going to respond to any size screen, wide, tall, whatever it is, because there's so many different phones and tablets out there that
oh my God, and they're all dimensions.
Yeah, exactly. And this way, and
yeah,
people,
that's right.
People might be using the built-in browser that comes with iOS or with Android, or they might have installed Chrome or Safari as an aftermarket browser.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And every one of the, so a responsive website means that it's going to respond to any screen and any browser that it's in.
And give you an appropriate menu or structure.
Correct.
So that you can effectively use the site.
That's correct. So you can't, like on a typical website, if you've got a top-level menu with a drop-down, you can't mouse over that and select a sub-page.
That's a hassle.
And no, it's not. So a mobile-friendly or responsive website is now going to create a drop-down list or a mobile-friendly style of the menu so that people can get to those sub-pages without driving themselves nuts trying to get to the sub-pages. That's actually my North Carolina real estate website.
That's gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
Gorgeous looking site.
Thank you.
So, okay, so now that we've got that, so Google basically, what happened then when Google applied that to websites? Did they sort of re-rank sites and push sites that weren't responsive down and push the sites that were responsive up?
Ultimately, yes. Nothing happens with Google overnight and that quickly, because if you have to understand, when you do a search on Google, you're not getting real-time results. You're getting old results. There's no way that you can do a search for something on the internet and get 634 million results in 0.12 seconds. So what Google does is it indexes the internet, and it stores everybody's websites within their own servers. They have thousands of acres of servers, and this is called a cache. And so what your results are could be based on a website that's 2 or 3 days old. So you don't know when Google's going to index your website.
Okay.
Years ago, Google had 3 main servers. We actually used to do what was called the Google Dance, and every month they would serve the results off of a different server, and we figured out which server they were resulting off of. But nowadays, it doesn't, way more than that.
Doesn't apply anymore.
So, no, not even close. So yes, what it does is it impacts people that have a non-responsive or mobile-friendly website.
Okay.
And it lowers their rankings in the search engine optimization.
Okay, so that's...
It's not the only factor.
It's not the only factor, but clearly they were looking to promote sites that were having this type of responsive development.
Absolutely, because the internet's working almost, we're looking at pushing 30% of traffic off of mobile devices now. I mean, people are making more decisions. They're shopping, they're, everything off of their devices.
So now, let's talk a little bit about the Panda Filter.
Okay.
Now, the Panda Filter was designed to look for or filter out websites that did not provide useful content.
Content quality, that's correct.
Quality of the content.
The content quality, duplicate content, those types of things, how it's laid out. The most recent one, Panda 4.2, was just released.
Okay.
The thing about the Panda updates is that when people learn about them after the update has been applied, it's too late.
It's too late.
You have to get ready for the next one.
Oh,
so
no.
Whatever they tell you should have done, and you didn't do it, and then they do the update, then it's kind of like, well, I didn't do it in time. I gotta get ready, for that. So it's one of those things that we try and explain to our clients. But every site that we build for our clients, the content people don't like reading a lot of content. I mean, people are more...
Well, they skim it. They sort of browse.
They do.
That's why it's called a browser, I think, because they don't really read it, they just browse it.
That's it. They're 70% more likely to click on an image than they are the words to view a product or to visit a page on your website. So something like this website right here, it's a permanent makeup website. I actually built it for my wife. So, people are more likely to click on the images and using images that represent products and creating a sense of what people want to look like. I always use this as an analogy. You're walking through Safeway, you look down and a woman sees Shape magazine, and there's Jennifer Aniston in her mid-40s, and she's got the tight belly, and she looks beautiful to be a 47 or 48-year-old, and women's minds automatically think, I want that.
That's why we don't see photographs of old guys with big bellies named
Well,
Bubba.
that's why they have this table in front of us. But you want to, marketing is about creating an environment and a sensation that people want to be a part of. And so when people see that magazine, they think, I wish I had that body. I wish I looked like that. And that's what you want to do with a website. And that's where effective design comes into play.
Okay.
So, and all of these things come as a part of,
So
the search engine
the Panda
optimization.
Filter is looking at the text, though.
Text, how it's laid out. I don't want to get too technical about it because there's so many different ways that we can do.
Well, there's so many things. For example, where the words are placed on the site, like your keywords, being whether you've got content above the Chrome line or that sort of threshold at the bottom.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with it.
They look at to see if there's that they look at that content first as being more relevant?
They do. Google reads from top to bottom, and how you use your heading tags or overuse them can be a negative part. So if I have tons of what's called H1 or a heading 1 tag, and I have my keywords 10 times on that, I'm not necessarily keyword stuffing, but I'm overusing an H1 tag. And you really should only have 1, maybe 2 H1 tag on it. And then if you're going to drill down your content, have a heading 2, heading 3, heading 4.
So in other words, it makes sense. There's a flow.
It does.
To the site. There's a flow to the content.
Absolutely.
And that would make good sense. Now, what is this site?
This is Island Event Rentals. This is a website that they do party event rentals. They rent out everything that you can see here on the website. They do the tables. They do the different silverware, the plates, and then we have a section where they have different settings that they've already created, and people can say, I want my wedding to look like that. So we create this. So, but we use interactive icons.
But I noticed that you use, like, you don't overstuff it with too many things. It's very laid out well. I mean, things are laid out and there's balance and there's a flow.
Absolutely.
To the content.
Absolutely. Testimonials, everything's dynamic and rotating. So you want to keep the user engaged, and you want it attractive to who they're trying to sell to.
Now, also in the design of your site, things like title tags.
Mm-hmm.
You use title tags in your hyperlinks, or is it?
You talk about meta titles, meta descriptions, and meta keywords.
Right.
The metadata, that's correct.
But that's not as relevant as it used to be.
It's very relevant,
Is
actually.
it?
It is. It's changed over time. But yes, it's very relevant. If you do a search in Google, your meta title is the hyperlink that they're going to see up there.
So that's the description of what the website is.
That's the first title that you see. That's the link you can click on. That's the meta title. It's the bigger letters with the line underneath.
Okay.
And there's a certain number of characters before it's truncated.
Okay.
And there's actually a weight given to those characters. So if a page is about something, if you're in a medical practice and you have a page that's about back pain,
Right.
your meta title should be something that's short and sweet about back pain, back pain help, or
okay.
but if you put back pain help by Hawaii Medical Practice, you're devaluing the weight of the characters back pain help, because those characters are given a weight.
Okay.
Your meta description is underneath it. So actually, this was a website right here called Fit Life Hawaii that I built for a really awesome girl here in Hawaii.
And it's about hamburgers.
No, this is an image we created to tell people to kick the bad habit of eating bad food. So she's an awesome person.
The food's making me hungry.
Oh, well, you need to talk to her. So, this is all about getting fitness, learning how your metabolism works, getting on a better diet. This is just one of the many sliding banners that we go by that entice people to click on and learn more about eating healthy.
I am so impressed with the quality of the look and feel of the site. Again, the layout looks very nice.
Thank you.
It's easy to read. It's easy your eyes kind of flow through it very nicely. And so that back, of course, the checkerboard background there adds to the content a little bit. That's not you, though, right?
No,
that's not you.
No.
Okay.
Some things to look for. I do want to make sure that's important is when you're talking with web designers, because there's many out there, and one of the most important things that we run into is when companies and individuals are being held hostage by a web designer. And probably
that's a good question, because I wanted to ask you, why should people use you maybe over somebody else? What do you bring to the table that other people maybe don't?
Well, we bring a lot to the table that other people don't. We bring custom design, custom programming, lengthy interviews. We understand their business.
Mm-hmm.
We're number one rated on Yelp. Our customers are continuous, and we have a lot of good customers and a great reputation. Ultimately, we take the time to understand everything about our customers' business.
Okay.
But we also get a lot of horror stories from people coming in where they're being held hostage by their current web designer.
Do tell. What's a good example?
The first thing I tell my customers is, if you are talking, because we encourage our customers to go get other reviews or other estimates from other companies. If a company tells you that they want to own your domain name, I'll buy your domain name and I'll control your domain name, just walk out the door, because that's a company that's going to want to keep control of you.
So
because
they've got you as a sort of a captured audience.
Yeah, it's like they own the title to your car, and then you're just renting it from them, so to speak. And I recently had to help an elementary school that was being held hostage by their previous domain, and other type of businesses that they wanted to move their websites over, have it rebuilt. The company went out of business. They can't get a hold of them anymore.
Humbug, isn't it? I've actually helped people like that.
Absolutely.
So how do people reach you? What's the best way for them to contact you?
They can typically go to Google and type in Hawaii Web Design or just Web Design, and they'll find us near the top or at the top of search engines.
Okay.
They can visit us.
Can they call you?
They can call us, of course.
What's the number for them to reach you?
739-WAVE.
739-WAVE. That's just too easy.
I know.
That's just way too easy.
I got lucky. Or onewavedesigns.com. It looks like we've got a live rendition of my website.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
So, and we like to have a little humor in our websites. If you go to our contact page, you'll see that we have a map to our super secret bat cave, and a direct map to it, and we say just shine the One Wave Designs logo up in the sky, so people can visit us there as well.
And then you'll make an appointment with them, and can they migrate their old site to you?
Depending what type it is. Our servers are Microsoft based.
Okay.
We prefer to build in a content management system that's called DNN software.
Okay.
We do
Great
Word.
platform.
It is.
It's a Microsoft. Originated from Microsoft.
It is. It's built in ASPX.
Well, thank you very much, Paul,
Absolutely.
for coming on the
appreciate
show.
You having me on here today.
You really gave out a lot of great information,
Well,
so I hope
we
people
like to
will
help
reach out
people.
and talk to you.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, I'm Chris Lethem. This is The Economy and You, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you for watching our show. Aloha.